Hello everyone. I'm just going to do a recorded broadcast here. It was supposed to be a live broadcast, but over the last 5 days I've run into a lot of difficulties with getting out live on Facebook. I tried Periscope this morning and a few other things. Very strange things have been happening. So I decided that I would pre-record this one because I really want to get what I have to say out there, and then in the future that I will be broadcasting live. I suppose I better tell you a bit about why I'm doing this. I'm delighted to say that I'm going to be a Vaxxed World host for Ireland, which means I'm going to be looking for stories from people who've had experiences of vaccination. I'll be looking for parents who might have injured children, people who have been injured by vaccines themselves, people working in the healthcare field, scientists maybe who are researching in this area, doctors, if we can get any, and you know, anyone really that has anything to say about vaccines. We can do the interview face to face, we can do it on Skype, or we can even do it anonymously if you know you want to protect your identity. That's okay. Everybody's welcome. Okay, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself first of all. My name is Mary Kelly Godley, and I have a son, Adam, who is 10 now, and who unfortunately in the first 2 years of his life was severely affected by vaccines. He had a number of adverse reactions to his 2, his 4, his 6 and his 13-month vaccines. I've just got my notes here because it's my first time doing this. So as I said, it has, I mean, the life that you have when you have a vaccine and your child is just very, very difficult. I mean, we've had to travel to Europe, and we've been to England, we've been to Bulgaria, to try and access medical care for my son, because unfortunately here in Ireland, nobody wants to know, nobody wants to acknowledge vaccine injury, and it's extremely difficult. And that's why I really want to do this and to try and make a success of Vaxxed, being a Vaxxed host, because things desperately need to change in this country. We can't keep going on like this. There's too many people being injured. Hopefully that the interviews that I do will be going out live on the We Brought Vaxxed to Ireland Facebook page, which is a very informative page for all issues in relation to vaccination. You know, you get information about what's going on here and all over the world. And it's a public group, so you can go and have a look at it. And they're always actively, you know, looking for members. So have a look at that anyway. As I said, these interviews will be going out on various different social media platforms. My own Facebook page is Mary Kelly Godley, which all other broadcasts will be going out on my Periscope, on Twitter, Mary Kelly Godley again. They will also be featured on Vaxxed TV on their YouTube channel. Now that's another excellent channel. There's loads of information there about interviews with parents of vaccine injured children, interviews with people who've been injured themselves. We've got doctors and scientists and politicians, documentary makers, you know, all kinds of people from all walks of life have done interviews for Vaxxed TV on their YouTube channel. They were here in Ireland last May, and I was delighted that I met Polly and I was interviewed myself, so my story is there as well. And there was also a number of other wonderful Irish people who also told their stories. There's those, I made so many friends, and you know, it can be a very lonely place having a vaccine injured child, but if you come and join our community, it's a movement now, if you come and join us, you know, we all support each other, we all watch each other's back, and you know, you won't feel so lonely anymore, and you will become very brave like me. Okay, I suppose one of the reasons, like I said, that I really want to encourage parents to please consider talking to me, is that in Ireland we really, really need change. Our children's voices really, really need to be heard. I mean, if we don't stand up and fight for our children, I can guarantee you 100% from my experiences over the last 9 years, nobody else is going to help your child. Nobody else is going to speak for them. You know, there a number of months ago, there was a huge scandal here in Ireland. We had the Tuam mother and baby homes. I mean, it was shocking, really, really shocking. 798 dead little bodies, you know, just thrown into a disused septic tank under a Catholic institution. I mean, it was terrible. But what really struck me at the time too was our Taoiseach at the time, Enda Kenny. He stood up in the Irish Dáil and he said this was a terrible time in Ireland's history. I don't dispute that at all. It was a very dark time when our children and our most vulnerable in Irish society were not cherished as they should have been. And you know, when I heard him saying that, I nearly choked on my tea, to be honest with you, because I thought, what is he talking about? I mean, this is a dark time in Ireland's history. You know, our children are not being looked after. The most vulnerable in society are being completely, you know, disregarded. I mean, I personally, from what I've seen, and I've seen a lot, the only thing that has really changed in Ireland since the 1960s is that the Catholic Church no longer has the power that it had. But we have to remember that back in 1960, the Catholic Church wasn't the only player in this. The government knew what was going on. The politicians knew what was going on. The doctors knew what was going on. You know, the media knew what was going on. And everybody stayed silent. And that is exactly what they are doing now. So we may no longer have Catholic guilt, but we have what I call New Age Catholic guilt. Or you could call it vaccine injury guilt. If you are the parent of a vaccine injured child in Ireland today, or you are vaccine injured yourself, if you speak about what happened to you, and if you seek help from anyone and everyone around you, you know, you're practically lynched on the side of the street. You know, there's hostility towards you. I've been asked to leave doctor surgeries. There have been lies told about my family in the media. And you know, I feel like, what terrible crime have I committed? What have I done other than what every parent in the world do? Advocate for their child. Try and get help for their child. And, you know, this has to change, guys. I mean, this cannot continue. We're in 2017 and we're all accepting the same treatment that was going on in 1960 something. I mean, has to change. And I mean, we have to remember as well that the biggest player in the two mother and baby home scandals was the Irish pharmaceutical industry. Last year, the Irish pharmaceutical industry exported more than 54 billion worth of pharmaceutical products from this country. They are running the show, lads. You know, they have their tentacles in absolutely everything. I know this. They own the media. You know, they give huge contributions and donations to all our doctors and to every research project. And as you know, as the phrase Del Bigtree will say, you know, our children have been sold to the pharmaceutical industry, but the reality is they have, you know. And the only ones that can do anything about that are us, the parents. We have to stand up, Sheila, and rise up. Because if we don't, nobody else will. Anyway, so as I say, in Ireland today we no longer have Catholic guilt, but we have New Age Catholic guilt, better known as vaccine injury guilt. Anyway, as I say, for years, I mean, I've been intimidated, I've been harassed. Like, it would take me 2 or 3 books to go into everything that has been done to my family, from intimidating emails, phone calls, lies in the media, trolls. I mean, you name it, they have thrown it at me. But lads, it's only made me stronger, and it's only made me angrier. So I look like, throw in the towel. Let me get on with telling the truth, because it's not working. You know, I know it's a bit like a dalliance from the movie Mission Impossible, but it's not working. I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep pointing out what happened to my child, and I'm going to keep looking for justice for him, and I'm going to keep looking for medical treatment for him. So the best thing you could do now is just cop yourselves on, put your toys back into the cot and help my son. Right, that's that out of the way. Anyway, so as I say, in recent times I've had a lot of trouble from the HSE. Not new there, guys, but you know, I've had a lot of trouble from their home support service providers called Resilience Care. Now, about 4 years ago, I started trying to very proactively get some home help for Adam, and for me too, because at that point in time Adam was very ill with undiagnosed bowel disease that nobody in this country would, you know, even look at, because he has autism. He has an autism diagnosis, which I query. It's not autism, it's vaccine-induced brain injury. But anyway, he has autism, so it is autistic-like symptoms, and he has bowel disease. He was having terrible diarrhea, 6-7 times a day, foul smelling, pale diarrhea. He was banging his head off the wall constantly. He has cracked our wall, not to mention what he's done to his poor head. He was lashing out at me. I still got marks on my arms, scratches, digging his nails into me in pain and frustration, because nobody would help him. And all the solutions I was getting was, well, you know, sedate him. But that didn't improve his bowel movements. That didn't work, because he needed medical care. He didn't need behavioural interventions. He needed medical treatment. So anyway, eventually we had to take him abroad. So I didn't get any home help that time. I was put on the waiting list for another 2 years. Can you imagine when you're in a crisis situation and they make you wait another 2 years, and then after 2 years, oh, we're our home support providers, Resilience Care, are going to give you 3 hours twice a week. Now, in fairness, that's not an awful lot, but that's all that I was being offered. So I was happy to get something. But it took them another 6 months to provide an actual home support worker, because even though I had been awarded home support, oh, we don't have anyone to do it. We have no resources. So, like, I mean, if I was not as tough a person as I am, and believe me, my son's injuries, they would break anyone. You know, it's really, really difficult. And there have been times when I have felt I can't do this anymore. And, you know, you ring them up and you say, oh, I will have someone next week. Or, oh, do you know what we'll do? We'll have a meeting. So you go to about 50 meetings. I'm just tired of going to meetings, because you go to a meeting, everybody takes notes, they go off home to their nice little life, and you're left there with a child dragging you around the room, and you're cleaning up all this foul smelling diarrhea. You know, I could go on